right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the toughest real estate markets out there, California's Inland Empire. I mean, this is where buyers who've been priced out of LA and Orange County, this is where they hope to land their first home. And let me tell you, getting the price right here, it's not just important, it is everything. So picture this. A pretty standard entry-level house in Paris goes up for sale. And bam, almost instantly, it's just flooded with 12 different offers. And get this, we're not talking about weeks here. All 12 of those offers rolled in within the first 72 hours. That's insane. That's like a new offer hitting their inbox every 6 hours. So the end result? The house sells for a whopping $19,000 over asking. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, the agent just got lucky, or they must have totally underpriced it. Nope, that's not what happened here. Not even close. You see that price? It wasn't an accident. It was a strategy, a really, really smart one. It was laser focused on this one crucial number, the FHA qualification ceiling. And honestly, knowing what that is, it's the difference between selling way over asking price in a weekend and having your listing just sit there collecting dust for months. So here's what we're going to unpack. We'll start with that $19,000 puzzle in Paris. Then we'll get into what this FHA buyer ceiling actually is. We'll see how a tiny $5,000 mistake can absolutely kill a deal. We'll touch on the invisible competition you're up against, how speed is your best signal, and finally, how you talk about all this with your seller. All right, first up, the $19,000 pricing puzzle. To really get this, you have to understand the Inland Empire. Think Riverside, Moreno's Alley, Perris. It's where first-time buyers from the coast go when they're priced out. And in a market like this, a home priced right doesn't just get an offer. It sparks a total feeding frenzy. Okay, check out the numbers here. The list price was $379,000. But look at the offer breakdown. Out of 12 offers, you had 8 FHA and 3 VA. I mean, that's 11 out of 12 offers coming from buyers using government-backed loans. That is not a coincidence. The list price was surgically chosen to pull in this exact group of buyers, who then, of course, battled it out and drove the price all the way up to $398,000. This brings us to the core of the strategy, the FHA buyer ceiling. You've got to know who you're selling to. And in these entry-level markets, you're not really selling a house. You're selling a monthly payment to a very specific kind of buyer, one who has some pretty tight financial limits. And Miss Chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at that. For homes under $450K in the Inland Empire, FHA buyers are 52% of the market. That's over half. So think about it. If your pricing strategy ignores more than half of the people who could possibly buy the house, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot before you've even started. So what is this FHA qualification ceiling? It's the absolute, unmovable maximum loan amount a buyer can get approved for. It's not a suggestion. It's not a negotiating tactic. It's a hard wall. For a lot of these single-income first-time buyers, it's based on their debt-to-income ratio. And if your price is even one single dollar over that wall, they are out. They physically cannot make an offer. Okay, this is where it all comes together. Let's talk about how just $5,000 can completely kill a deal. It sounds so small, right? But a tiny little pricing error can have absolutely catastrophic results for your listing. So let's just ask the question. Let's say the FHA ceiling for most buyers in a place like Moreno Valley is right around $425,000. What happens if you tell your seller, hey, let's just test the market and list it for $430,000? Well, the impact is brutal, and it's immediate. That little $5,000 jump doesn't just shrink your buyer pool a little bit, it wipes out 40% of them. Poof, gone. 40% of your potential offers your bidding war just vanished. Why? Because most of them have their search alerts capped at $425K. Your listing at $430K is literally invisible to them. And that is why this is so critical. You know, in the luxury market, if you're off by 50 grand, whatever, it might not even matter. But down here, in the entry-level world, being off by just $5,000, that's the difference between a dozen offers over the weekend and just crickets for a month. The margin for error is razor thin. But wait, it gets even trickier, because you're not just competing with other resale homes. In places like Eastvale, you have what I call the invisible competition, and that's the new construction builders. Their biggest advantages? They're completely hidden from your CMA data. Just look at this. A buyer in Eastvale is looking at your house, or they're looking at a brand new build down the street. The builder is dangling a $12,000 credit for closing costs, plus a rate buy-down that makes their monthly payment $280 cheaper. Now, none of that is going to show up on your comps, but you can bet it shows up when that buyer is making their final decision. You have to price against these massive incentives. So, with all this stuff to think about, how do you even know if you got the price right? Well, simple. The market will tell you, and trust me, it's going to tell you fast. In this game, speed is the signal. And the difference is just night and day. Price it right, and you should be looking at 8 to 15 offers in the first week. You'll be in escrow in 6 to 9 days, but if you're overpriced by just 10 grand, nothing. The average days on market shoots up to 38. Let me be clear. If you don't have a flood of activity in the first few days, you don't have a marketing problem. You have a pricing problem. Which brings us right back to that Perris house. This is what success looks like. Day 1, it's listed. Day 3, they're drowning in 12 offers. Day 6, it's in escrow for way over asking. The timeline itself proves the strategy was spot on. But all that speed, 12 offers in just 3 days, that creates a whole new problem, right? Pulling off the perfect pricing is only half the battle. The other half is explaining what's happening to your seller, who is probably freaking out and wondering why you priced their house so low in the first place. I mean, really think about it. The offers are pouring in. You've got different loan types, escalation clauses, the whole shebang. And your seller is on the phone wanting a clear professional update right now. You don't have an hour to write the perfect email. You need to be fast, clear, and confident. Look, handling this kind of success takes the same precision that setting the price did. And this is where a tool like CMA Flow's Email Drafter really becomes a lifesaver. You can just pop in, say you're doing a market update, answer like 4 simple questions about the offers you've received, and it just instantly drafts a professional email for you. It lets you communicate the win with the same speed and clarity the moment demands. So if there is one single thing you walk away with today, let it be this. The right price is not the highest number you can think of. It's the number that unleashes the most competition. Your job isn't to find the ceiling, it's to find the price that gets the maximum number of qualified buyers in the door so they can fight it out. Because ultimately, that competition, that's what gets your seller the best possible price and terms. So the next time you're about to price an entry-level home, just stop and ask yourself this one question. Are you pricing for the highest number? Or are you pricing for the maximum number of buyers? Because honestly, the answer could change your entire business.